for its artistic representations and art forms, world famous Khajuraho temple located in the heart of India, Madhya Pradesh, in Zilla Chhatrapur. Name Khajuraho comes from the Sanskrit word khajur or date palm trees. It is said that Raja Chandra Varma, who established Khajuraho, planted palm trees all over the city. Therefore, it is called Khajuraho. At ancient times, it was also known as Khajurpura or Khajurvahika. Ninth and 10th century built, these temples were done by Chandela dynasty. Khajuraho was included in the UNESCO in 1986. These temples were divided in three parts: the eastern side, western side, and the southern side.
The Khajuraho group of monument was built during the rule of the Chandela dynasty. The building activity started immediately after the rise of their power throughout their kingdom to be later known as Bundelkhand. The Khajuraho temples were in active use toward the end of the 12th century. Historical records note that the Khajuraho temple site had 85 temples by the 12th century, spread over 20 square kilometers. This changed by in 13th century after the army of Delhi Sultanate under the command of the Mughal Sultanate attacked and seized the Chandela kingdom. From 13th century throughout the 18th century, some temples were desecrated. It was followed by the long period when they were left and neglected. 25 temples left. 10 are of Vishnu, 8 are of Shiv, 1 is of Surya, 1 is of Chausath Yogini, and 5 Jain temples, in which the biggest and the famous is the Kandera Mahadev. It is the most popular temple among the Khajuraho monuments. It was built by Raja Vidyadhar in the 1830s. The local Hindu guided a British surveyor T.S. Butt to the temple, and then they were rediscovered by the global audience.
The artwork symbolically depicts the four goals of life in Hinduism: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These Purusharthas are considered as an ideal way of living life. Dharma means moral values. Artha suggests prosperity. Kama means desire. And Moksha is considered as an ultimate ideal of human life.
A scene from war scene of training elephants for war, business and trading give an idea about the city, the people and economic activities at that time. Kama often connotes sexual desires, but in a broader way it refers to any wish, love, emotional attraction and pleasure. The erotic sculptures on the walls of Khajuraho represent the great Indian literature Kama Sutra.
The final Purushartha, Moksha, is liberation. In order to attain moksha, one has to follow Dharma, Artha, and Kama. Moksha refers to freedom from the cycle of life and death. Scholars consider that the erotic sculptures are a symbol for moksha. They depict a final union of two principles, Purusha and Prakriti. In a way, the Khajuraho temples depict that a soul has performed its duties, overcome materialistic and sexual desires, and is on a way of attaining moksha.
The Khajuraho temples direct us towards an ideal way of living life through the sculptures and its symbolic art. The beauty of the Khajuraho temples lies in the idea of translating theological concepts into symbolic art. The temples suggest how effectively art can be used to make human eye perceive concepts and interpret it in their own way, satisfying individuals' intellect.
The Khajuraho temples are inspired from many art forms that flourished in Rajput kingdoms of India from 8th through the 10th century. This art on the walls of Khajuraho covers numerous aspects of human life and values considered important in our Indian philosophy. The Nagara style architecture, intricate details, floral patterns on mandapas are examples of ancient Indian fine art.
The architecture of Khajuraho temples is Nagara style. The temple is built out of finely grained sandstone of varying colors like pink, pale buff, brown, and yellow. The construction is made of sandstone with a granite foundation. The sandstones used were of superior quality, which can be carved precisely.
Looking at the work, we can definitely say that these temples would have required hundreds of highly trained sculptors and techniques. The temples of Khajuraho are believed to be the highest point of architectural and engineering genius during medieval times.
The Nagara style of temple architecture became popular in northern India. It is a square-based temple with a number of graduated projections. The shikhar of temple is a mountain-like spire which generally has a curved shape. Mandapa is the entrance to the temple and it features a large space. It can be described as hall which has a roof supported by a number of pillars.
Earlier, there was only one shikhara built, but with the time, complexities in the constructions also increased. It reflected as the number of shikharas with one main and unique shikhara. This made it look as a mountain-like structure. The shikharas, walls, pillars, and roofs were decorated with floral and geometrical patterns, as well as with the images of Indian gods and goddesses and some scenes from mythologies.
The mandapas are arranged by principles of symmetry, grids, and mathematical precision. This use of same underlying architectural and design principles is common in Hindu temples found all over India.
The Khajuraho group of temples were built together but were dedicated to two different religions, Hinduism and Jainism, suggesting a tradition of acceptance and respect for diverse religious views. The Khajuraho temples are not just erotic sculptures. In ancient times, there were very less resources to store the knowledge. Sculptures, carvings were a great system of passing knowledge from one generation to another at that time. The Khajuraho temples were used as a medium of sex education.
We see the stairs at entrance directing to the sanctum. Two small temple-like structures on the opposite sides. A same repeated design pattern on four shikharas except for the main big shikhara. The surface of the temple being parallel to the ground is at a higher distance from it. A definite flow in the architecture of the temple. Detailed carvings on the heavy stone, and the structure is divided into 5 major parts: Garbhagriha, Antarala, Mahamandapa, and Ardhamandapa. We think These statues in temple are east facing in a way that sunlight falls on the faces of deities every morning. The temple-like structures on both the sides are spaces for the statues of gods. The temple with relatively big shikhara and unique design is where the main god or goddess's statues are placed. There are 5 divisions of temple which is clearly stated with 5 kalashas carved on the top. The river, that is Ganga, at the top with half moon-like structure symbolizes serenity and purity. This is a Nagara-style architecture temple which concludes that this temple is in the northern India. Showing more statues of women than men is disrespectful, and the structures carved on the temple depict Indian gods and goddesses. We wonder if the structure of temple is inspired from an ideal Raja Darbara where the king or person with utmost importance is in the middle surrounded by people guarding him. What happened to those date palm trees at the entrance? If the geographical divisions of temples have any specific reason, if there is a reason for constructing the surface higher than the surfaces in general, if this whole temple is constructed on rock or is it made from variety of rocks, and if this temple has any relevance to the conspiracy theories where they state that the top portion is a flying vehicle used by gods for traveling. This is also mentioned in the Garud Purana with details about design and aerodynamics.
I agree. But do you think it's appropriate to display erotic carvings on the temple?
Yes, and I think there is nothing wrong or inappropriate about the display of erotic carvings and sculptures.
Even Rashi and I agree on this.
Yes, these Khajuraho temples created awareness about sex at that time.
And I have also read that the times were difficult then. Mughal and British people were trying to convert Indians and preach their own religions. Scholars use these erotic carvings on Khajuraho to attract people towards temples and promote Indian religions.
Okay, so Khajuraho temple promote Indian philosophies and create awareness about sex. But do these temples educate us today? If yes, then why are they not included in our textbook?
Exactly. There is a limit to things we can cover in portion for 1 year. According to me, as these temples refer to term sex, Kama Sutra, it is not covered in our elementary and secondary school.
If we choose to study art and history in details, there are many courses, specializations which cover the Khajuraho temples.
I think today we have a lot of modern and developed ways available to learn about these things. We don't necessarily need to refer to the carvings on some temples. But in ancient times, the education, learning was a whole different process. People used to follow the 4 ashramas. It is not similar to today's Indian education system. Sure, we might not get sex education from these carvings directly, but we can learn and appreciate its art and architecture.
Yes, I agree with Avni on this. I don't have any issue with the erotic sculptures, but why do women engaged in sexual activities are displayed more than men? Is it disrespectful?
But Rashi, why do you think displaying women engaged in sexual activities can be disrespectful?
Yes, definitely. But women are not only displayed as erotic statues, they are statues of women taking care of their children, dancing. There are statues of women warriors leading the men. There are many Indian goddesses. I think it shows how important women are considered as that time in Chandela dynasty.
Very true. And in my opinion, even if they were displayed in sexual activities only, that would have not been disrespectful. It is a natural process and there is nothing wrong about it.
Yes, really, thank you. What do you think, Tanishq?
I agree with them on this. But I still have a question. How do you guys think that the people were given sex education before this temple were built?
Temples are not the only way of storing knowledge, right? Even before that, people had written scripts and language.
According to philosophy, there are many types of knowledge. We learn some things from experience, from perception. Philosophers believe that we are born with some knowledge and it is called as innate knowledge. We don't need to learn some things.
If this is an innate form of knowledge, why scholars have written Kama Sutra?
I would say that it is a collection of theories about sex, protection preserved by people at that time.
Because I know about the intentions behind the erotic carvings and I have a basic information about the Khajuraho temple, I don't think it is an inappropriate display. But the people in the society are not aware and comfortable talking about it. There are very limited people whom I can share such things. Everyone is familiar with the term sex, but if I say it loud, I'm a bad guy.
There is a difference between having knowledge and talking about something. Just because we have temples related to sex education, we cannot force people to talk about sex.
I agree. I think it's a personal choice if someone wants to discuss not just about sex but anything. Even if people don't talk about it, as long as they don't feel that someone is a bad person just because he or she is talking about sex, it should be fine.
True, but how can we make it happen?
We cannot change the mentality of the people. But we should put forward our thoughts and tell them that it is not a shame or wrong to talk about sex.
Of course, we cannot change the way people perceive things, but we can provide them enough information and inference so that they can reach till their conclusions.
The Khajuraho temple are there for 1000 years now. Do you think they have impact on our society?
Of course, my parents were not able to discuss this with my grandparents, but today my parents and I talk about it. This is a positive impact.
Even I am considering my parents' opinion on this project. You cannot convince people in a day. But with this project, we are at least starting a conversation.
Well said, Tanishq. I think controversies, maybe people not wanting to talk about it, are also impacts of the Khajuraho temples. And as Rashi said, our parents were not allowed to speak about these things. But today we are doing a project on this topic. We have come a long way. Of course, this is going to be a continuous process.
Yes, I do agree with you all. I think Khajuraho temple should not be famous because of its erotic sculptures. People should know about how they depict human life and an ideal way of living it.
True, we should encourage them to study about its beautiful art and architecture.
And that is the reason we have presented our research, discussions and opinions through this video. Come on, let's ask ourselves some questions and let's try to find the answers.